Hi, my name's Sarah and welcome to our Employable Careers and Cocktails podcast. Today we have David. David, very first question, what's your favourite cocktail?
Favourite cocktail? Now that one's an easy one. It's an espresso martini.
Okay, that sounds...
You sound surprised.
I am, I'm not a coffee lover, so it's one of those
Okay.
that I'm just like, not too sure about. Okay, so the more important question, who are you and what do you do?
I'm David Callaghan. I'm a non-exec director with Employable. And generally what I do is work with small aspirational companies, particularly looking on the technology side, and offer any advice and contacts and momentum that I can from the experience that I've got.
Yes, perfect. What 3 words would you use to describe yourself?
Oh, 3. I'd rather you'd said 1, so I'll think of 3. 3 words: optimistic.
Yes.
I would say questioning.
Okay.
Love asking questions, mainly because I like the answers.
Yes.
And finally, tenacious.
Okay.
I'll keep asking the question until I get the answer.
Yes. I know that very well. My children are very tenacious.
Tenacious, yeah.
Okay.
That's a good trait though, Sarah, okay? So that's a good trait.
It is.
That's one of their good traits.
It is, unless it's the why.
Ah, yes. Okay.
And you constantly get the but why, but why. But then that's not a nice trait then.
But it is a question.
It is, it definitely is. Have you always been in your current role, this role? Or if not, what did you used to do?
No, I've not always been in this role. I've been doing this, I guess, for 4 or 5 years. Before that, I was in IT, in corporate jobs.
Okay.
And so I had kind of a lifetime, 40-something years in corporates. And the last one I was with them for about 18 years, was Oracle.
Okay.
And so had a great time there. And that kind of was the culmination of a career with a number of other companies right the way through the technology industry. So it's been, for me, a great career and a challenging one, and one that you're always learning.
Quite exciting as well, and varied, I should imagine.
Very varied. One of the things I was very lucky about was getting into IT, not right at the start, but somewhat in the early days.
Yes.
And so you get the opportunity to grow up with an industry. And it's always changing and is still changing. I mean, as we know now.
Yeah.
I finished about my corporate role about 4 or 5 years ago. Nobody was talking about artificial intelligence.
No.
And now, if you're not talking about artificial intelligence, you're missing out on something. So things continue to evolve, continue to move. So yeah, it's been a great place to be, an exciting place to be.
Very fast-paced industry as well, IT and technology.
Very, very fast-paced. It's not a place where you can kind of tune out for too long, because it'll take a while to tune back in again. Certainly in my experience.
I did the same, because I had a break in marketing.
Right.
And I raised my children in that space of raising your children because of IT and social media.
Yeah.
When I come back into marketing, it was just like, oh, everything's changed.
The world has changed.
And you think marketing the principles of marketing, the textbook, it's still completely relevant. But you sit there and you think, oh, it'll be fine because I know it and I know it inside out, and you come back and it's just like,
what happened? It's all changed.
Not really the same anymore.
No, it's not. But again, wasn't that exciting for you?
Yes.
That, it was a whole new area you could explore and new tools to leverage and so on.
Yeah, and like you say, it's still changing and it's still evolving, and we're all still learning. Which is exciting, really. So, okay, so when you were 16, where did you see yourself?
That's a wonderful question. I don't really think I saw myself anywhere. I think that was probably just as I was getting into IT. And at school, there was a maths lesson, and the guy brought in a modem, and in those days a modem was kind of the size of a record player.
Yes.
And for those who don't know what a record player was, it was about the size of a big box.
Yeah.
Anyway, he put the receiver onto the modem, and you could hear this crackle when it connected, I think, to a computer in the town hall.
Right.
And you started to see the communication, the connection, and the workings. And probably at that point I did start to think, I see myself in IT,
right?
Which was a shame for my mother, because she'd really wanted me to be an accountant.
Okay.
But that perhaps wasn't how I saw myself.
Yes.
And probably just at 16, I was thinking, this IT thing. I don't even think we called it IT then. It was just computing,
Yeah.
computer science, to give it some legitimacy, I guess. I suddenly thought, hey, this looks interesting.
Something different as well, something different to what we were brought up with originally, because obviously I sort of had computers through senior school, but prior to that it was the dial-up at home and sitting there waiting for it to connect to the internet.
That's right, and well, it's still a bit like that. You sometimes,
sometimes.
you sometimes have to cross your fingers on the first connection, but now we see all the things that we can do just once you are connected, that then wouldn't even dream.
It's that whole thing when we were in school. You'll not have a calculator with you wherever you go, and now it's instantly on our phone and available to us.
Or your watch.
Tells you what to do.
So, somebody told me that they're working on a ring now, so heaven knows the next piece of jewellery we'll get.
I'd lose that one. A watch is probably my last one. But how about your morning routines? Because there's a lot of theories and studies about morning routines. Do you have one of your miracle mornings or morning routines, or do you just...
So again, another good question. Yes, it is a routine. Is it something that is particularly motivational or spiritual or anything else? I don't think so. I've for years, and I don't know why, got up at 4:53.
Blimey.
Or at least woken up at 4:53, because I'm at my best in the morning. And when I was going into the office and so on, it would take me an hour and a bit to get in. So getting up early meant you could miss all the traffic and so on. So my morning routine is to get up, have a shower, get ready, and take a banana and into the world.
Start the day.
So again, not that inspirational, but it is early.
No, it's very... there's a lot of research as well of the 5 o'clock is tends to be the thing in most of the miracle mornings. Wake up at 5 o'clock, start your day, and do your shower, making the bed.
I'm beating that by 7 minutes and have done for many years.
You are beating that. And do you still do that now, even?
Yeah.
Even so?
Yeah. I maybe don't obviously leave the house every day as much as I used to, but I'll wake up and I'll start reading. My colleagues are amused that they tend to get emails timed at 5:20 or 6:10 or whatever, because that's when the brain is working. And maybe, Sarah, it's also those things that you've been thinking about going to bed.
Yes.
That I think, I'm not going to write an email late at night because I'm just not.
Yeah.
But it will have probably gone round, and actually you get him and think, right, that's what I want to say.
Yeah.
That's the expression I want to give and the feel I want to give.
So with going to getting up that early, do you go to bed early, or do you have is there a set time for bed too?
I guess typically around 10.
Just when you start to feel...
Yeah, feel tired. So even then, I mean, if you go to bed at 10 and get to sleep pretty quickly, and touch what I normally do, that's 7 hours, isn't it? So
yes.
That's okay.
It's more than enough.
I'll take that.
Perfect. Okay, so what are the best bits about your job now?
The best bits about my job are I get to meet lots of people, and I get to learn an awful lot.
Yeah.
The beauty of working with small companies and entrepreneurial companies is people full of ideas, full of things, and ambition.
Yes.
Really that desire, and working with Imployable, that's absolutely there. There's great technical energy, there's great commercial energy, there's great marketing energy, but there's also a sense of purpose as well.
Yes.
And I learn lots from all of you and the companies I work with as well. So yeah, I've been lucky. I think I've had a very rich, rewarding, enjoyable career in the corporate world. But I'm perhaps learning some things that I am learning things I never got exposure to during all of those years.
Yes.
Because it's people with just a fresh approach, different ideas, and different experience. And
I suppose everybody approaches things differently. Like Imployable, we're quite unique in the fact that we will test things and we will think outside the box, whereas some people are probably a bit more structured and following the textbooks, and they're like the principles of marketing book and the sales books, they're following things as proven structures, whereas some people are just like, let's put that book aside and let's just test it and have a go.
Yeah, the fact we're both sitting here with a cocktail and having a drink means that we will think out of the box in a different kind of way. So I think it's learning, it's diversity, it's energy, it's aspiration, it's all of those things, and that's what continues to make me want to get up at 4:53 in the morning, because there are lots of ideas out there and lots of opportunities out there.
Yes, definitely. What are some of the challenges you faced when you first started out building your career? I mean, I know it was a fast-growing industry of technology,
and a very different world. It probably reflects back on something that we spoke about, this learning thing. I think coming out of university, you tend to think you've done your learning.
Yes.
And here we go, world. Actually, you realise, okay, that was kind of interesting, but not going to be 100% relevant to what you'd be doing. And it was that, crikey, there is now this career of continual learning.
Yeah.
And perhaps the challenge was continuing to nurture the appetite for that, if I can put it that way, and to realise, you'd have a world where you'd never know all the answers. And that's actually all right.
Yes.
Because that goes back to the questioning thing. Part of the fun is discovering those answers. Then, if you think it's worthy of it, sharing those with other people. So I think it was that realisation that it wasn't, if you like, the end of learning. It was genuinely the beginning.
Yes.
The real beginning.
It just gives you the foundations of how to learn, I suppose.
Exactly, and I think not just the academic, but learning with people.
Yeah.
That suddenly, when you enter the world of work, you're working with people from such a diversity of background, and the ability to be able to understand, to relate, and to leverage, is as important, more important than some of the academic things, because again, pretty soon you find, as you don't know all the answers, you better be able to connect with those that do, and then that whole world of collaboration and teamwork, I think in the early days I started to find was very important, and the older I've got, it just gets more and more important.
Yes, it does. It definitely does, and it helps build as well. And I think people sometimes they shut off thinking they don't have to learn and adapt, and you always have to, and especially small businesses have to adapt, and they have to adapt quite quickly to the changing times and their audience as well. And especially from a marketing point of view, there's so many different audiences, and we've got to be able to speak to them in different ways as well.
Yeah. So, as you say, all those different audiences, and be able to make a connection and to relate to those, and realise that actually by coming together, the answer does become infinitely better, because it just does.
Yeah.
We've not got it all inside of us.
No, we haven't. What advice would you give to someone starting out or transitioning into your career?
Be prepared to learn.
It is all about the learning.
It is, and maybe it goes back to the words that describe me. Be optimistic, be questioning, be tenacious.
Yes.
Because I think if you can retain that approach and that mindset, you will not only contribute, but you will continually develop and have the opportunity to continue to develop. So probably I'd encapsulate those three words as words that would hopefully motivate and be valuable to help people get the best out of what their career can offer.
What is something about your industry that surprised you? That's a tough one.
That is a tough one. I think as I've gone through, am I allowed two things?
Yes. Yeah. You can have as many as you want.
I think the pace of it has just not slowed.
Right.
If anything, it gets faster, and you see many industries can kind of grow and reach a plateau, and then they'll kind of stay there or maybe decline. Whereas my sense is with technology, the pace has been not just relentless, it's been incremental. Yeah. And I think that's surprised me. I think the other surprise, and maybe listening to that from where we are now, it may sound a little naive, I guess, is that it's gone on to touch virtually every aspect of the world, of life, of experience and things.
We are connected. It's so vast, because like 20, 30 years ago, you had to knock on somebody's door or pick up a phone. Now you've got instant access to anything and anybody within reason, around the world,
Yeah.
and space. We can watch the little rover on the moon
Yeah,
potter around, or Mars, should I say?
exactly.
Potter around.
Every single thing. The fact we're doing a podcast now. Yeah, go back
Yes.
10, 15 years. Nobody even used the word podcast.
Yeah.
And now it's just it's there, and it can touch everything. We can communicate. I can listen to it on so many different devices in so many different ways. I can catch up with it. And so, if you look at the medical sector, what that can do now around diagnosis and treatment, just wouldn't have happened many years ago. So I think that has surprised me. I think maybe still surprises me a little bit is not necessarily a reluctance to embrace technology, but I think sometimes people make it all harder than it really needs to be.
Yes.
I think simple is sometimes very, very good. So hopefully, as an industry, we won't overcomplicate things.
Not keep reinventing the wheel.
Not reinvent the wheel, and not the number of times I feel I have to go through several iterations to get to what I want when I actually know it was more available than that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it can be frustrating. Onto interviews. What tips do you have for people who are getting ready for interviews?
Like everything, prepare. You may feel you are the wittiest, most informed, most engaging individual, but still just prepare, do your research, understand the company you're talking to, the role you're interested in, if possible, the person who'll be interviewing you.
Yeah.
The more that you can prepare, the better the chance to really engage.
Yeah.
And I've always felt interviews are more valuable if people share what they have done rather than what they would do.
Yes.
We can all fly kites on the things we would do.
Yeah.
Build up a body of experience that you're really proud of.
Yeah.
That you can really articulate well and comes over well, and then when somebody asks you a question, all you're doing is sharing that. You're just sharing something you already feel very positive about.
Yes, no, definitely. A few more on your career. What's your biggest failure, and what did you learn from it?
So again, I'm smiling because it still hurts. I better not use any names.
No.
But it's back to the preparation. I hadn't prepared for something.
Okay.
I hadn't checked every single angle. And I spent much of my life in sales. And it was very early in my sales career. So we're probably back into the 80s. So we are going back a while.
Yeah. And
I was pretty certain I was going to get this deal. And I was competing against another company, but I had the best product. I had the best product. And the commercials all looked good. What I didn't realise and what I hadn't looked at was the relationship the competitor already had with the company I was selling to.
Okay.
And actually, if I'd read the annual report, I'd have known that. Okay. But I didn't read the annual report. So I think I learnt at that point, don't be naive, don't be suckered, just all the information that's available, take the opportunity to see it. It improves the perspective that you have, and it therefore improves your chance to win in a sales way or to actually engage generally. Yeah. So, I still, that one still hurts. Actually, that's still my biggest failure. But actually, I also reflect. I'm quite grateful for it.
Yeah, so in a way it was kind of a success in a way because you learned and there was learnings from it and you didn't just go, I failed at that and carried on doing it.
Absolutely.
You have turned it into a success because you learned from it.
I got a kick.
Yeah.
And I needed a kick because maybe...
Sometimes
you do.
Sometimes we do.
Sometimes we do, and maybe it's a natural thing. We all get a bit complacent at times.
Yeah.
So it was
too comfortable.
A bit too comfortable, maybe even a bit too cocky. Who knows?
Yes.
And that was one of those that said, you've always just got to keep looking and keep aware.
Wait back. Stand back a bit more and have a look. Yeah. Okay. So, what's the funniest thing you've seen in an office environment? Oh, this really stumps most people. Yeah. This does because
it's in this environment actually.
Okay.
I don't think I've been in an office that has a golf course or a putting green. I don't think I have.
And definitely maybe a bar. I fully stopped.
I have actually seen a couple of bars,
With a telephone booth, maybe.
Perhaps not with a telephone booth and a letterbox.
Yes.
And I'm looking around, but it has with everything else, hasn't it? So yeah, I think I've seen some pretty strange things. Is strange the right word? Unexpected things.
Yeah.
But
Fun
a little
fun
golf
and
course.
exciting.
Fun and exciting. Different.
Different. We like to be different. What would be the title of a movie based on your career, and who would play you?
Something like Still Learning, Still Smiling.
Okay.
I think because actually when I kind of look back, I think there's been a lot of learning on the way and a lot of smiles on the way. Again,
Yes.
I've been incredibly fortunate.
Yeah.
I've worked with some wonderful people, some great companies, great customers, great partners, and okay, there are challenges at times, clearly, but as you overcome those sort of smiles. So something like Still Learning, Still Smiling.
Perfect. This is where the fun bits start with the questions.
Sorry, I thought we'd had the fun bit.
No. That's all your career. Well, that's fun.
Okay.
But this is the Sarah type fun.
Oh, good.
So,
Lovely.
is there a conspiracy theory that you believe in?
No, I don't think so.
No?
No.
How about the moon?
No, I absolutely believe the moon exists.
Well, yes, it does. It does exist. But did we go to the moon?
Yes, we went to the moon.
We went to the moon. But why have we
I
not
watched
gone?
it. I watched on the telly. Come on, it was
But
there.
Who was the
I was
man?
alive.
If Neil Armstrong was the first man on the moon, who was there taking the photo?
That was all taken care of.
It was a selfie stick. Selfie stick in the moon.
It was the 1969 equivalent of the selfie stick. Somebody put a Kodak brownie on the side of the lunar module.
Little disposable.
It was dead simple. In fact, I remember those Polaroid cameras that used to fly out.
You can still buy those. Those
You
are quite
actually,
expensive now.
They did come back again.
Yeah,
that kind of nostalgia thing. So no, I tend not to believe in conspiracy theories because I think that there would be more evidence of the conspiracy.
Okay.
Because frankly, people are not that good at keeping secrets.
No,
they
definitely
really
not.
aren't.
Definitely not.
So there would be more contemporaneous evidence.
Okay, this one might be a bit different or a bit harder because of the actor side, but if you could interview a famous person, who would it be? So if you want to do famous, we can, or we can do maybe a historic person if that's a bit more relevant.
Well, I think I've got one because
Okay.
I was talking with a friend about something similar the other day, and I don't necessarily like the kind of thing celebrity. Maybe the challenge of meeting just one person is you get that fame. Somebody who intrigues me greatly and entertains me greatly and informs me greatly is Graham Norton.
Okay.
And I think to interview him, you're getting him and all of his experience and understand, but you're getting the spectrum of folk that he's had the privilege and opportunity
And the stories.
And just he has met with so many people.
Yes.
And it's usually very witty, but also there's a lot of information and stories there. So I think somebody like him, you'd not just be tapping into him as an individual, you'd be really tapping into a much wider set of interests.
Yes. No. Okay. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Superpower.
This is where I can tell whether you're a DC or Marvel fan.
It's got to be one of those kind of superpowers.
No. It's any power you want, but normally you can sort of gauge.
It would be something to do with questioning.
Okay.
It would be either knowing when somebody's not being entirely truthful, if that was a superpower, or just always finding that next question that really gets to a point quicker. I think that would be a superpower.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, and last but not least, if you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, what would you like to say?
Get a grip.
Yes.
I think, yes, simply get a grip, partly back to the collaboration, something around teamwork.
Yeah.
We'll actually come out with a better outcome if we all work on this in a collaborative, not self-interested, mutually interested way.
Yeah.
Just get a grip. I think that we spend so much of our energies, our resources, our intellects focusing on things which are negative and take away from the world. And if there was just a way to invert that into something more positive and collaborative and mutually advantageous. I know I've gone on for more than 30 seconds, but
that's fine.
I think you probably get the idea.
Get a grip is I like that because it's simple and pure, but there's a lot of context behind it as well.
I heard the phrase the other day that I hadn't heard for a long time. Give your head a wobble.
Yes, yes. Like one of those little wobble men.
Yeah, give your head a... Yeah, it's also silly. So give your head a wobble and let's sort this out.
Yeah, perfect. Right, David. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you for the invitation to the bar and the cocktail.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks.
Bye.